What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings now. Coming up on today's show, we got the top overreactions and takeaways from that very, very ugly win versus the Jaguars as the Vikings ended up winning 12-7. And I thought this meme I saw on Twitter perfectly describes what it felt like to be a Vikings fan yesterday. You wake up, you're so excited to watch your favorite team play, then throughout the entire game, you are doubting life itself. But then, hey, at the end, they ended up winning. And if you guys are hyped up about the Vikings being 7-2 for the season right now, just hit that thumbs up icon, like today's video. There's a lot of negativity from some Vikings fans out there. But, I'm going to take a sip of purple Kool-Aid before starting today's show. So if you guys are fired up about that win yesterday and fired up about the Vikings being 7-2, hit that thumbs up button. What's up, guys? My name is Patrick Siepman. Now, I want to start off today's show by showing you guys this crazy stat. And shout out to Roger Bong for sending this my way. But the Vikings are the first team since 2006 to win a game with 0 touchdowns, 3+ turnovers. Teams have lost 195 straight games. So, listen, I understand the score was not what we hoped yesterday of a 12-7 win versus the Jags, but I still feel like if you just clean up the turnovers, you clean up a couple miscues, this is a very, very dangerous football team. So I got 4 goods and 3 bads from yesterday's game. But we got to start off. The defense, they were fantastic for a second straight game. They definitely struggled versus the Lions and the Rams, but since then, they have been awesome. And I think this is a legit group. We felt that impact with Blake Cashman back in the lineup, and they absolutely put a strangled hold on this Jags offense. Now, I understand it was Mac Jones, not Trevor Lawrence in at QB, but Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing that well this year. And this Jags team, they got weapons. Like Brian Thomas held him to 12 yards. Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, they got good tight ends. Gabe Davis was back. Like, this isn't a group where they don't have talent on the outsides. They 100% do, and the Vikings held them to 3.3 yards per play, only 10 first downs, and in 2 weeks, the Vikings have only allowed 1 trip to the red zone. That is the best stat around this defense right now, and you got to tip your cap to this man being back in the lineup, Blake Cashman. Like, we really felt his impact yesterday. He had a sack. He was flying all over the football field, and he's one of the best coverage linebackers in the league. But also, we saw him open up the play for Ivan Pace. I felt like Pace over the past couple of weeks without Cashman, he was just kind of overthinking the game a little bit since he was wearing the green dot. But now with Cashman being a great communicator with that green dot, it just allows Pace to really, really play free. And I will say this, where Patrick was wrong, Vikings don't have a blue chipper defensively. Take that back. Jonathan Greenard is 100% that. He was awesome yesterday in the run. He had some big TFLs that really put the Jags behind the sticks. And he is the only guy, one-on-one, where you feel comfortable with him getting consistent pressure every single game, whether that's, the scheme, maybe the scheme's not getting home to the quarterback. You can count on number 58 every single week. And his contract he signed this offseason, 4 years, $72 million. It's going to be one of the better ones in the NFL for the next couple of seasons. And then massive shout out to this man. 3 straight games with an interception this year. I'm going to start calling him the closer because it feels like every single time late in the fourth quarter when the Vikings defense needs to make a play, it always seems like it's Byron Murphy making that play. It's either him or Cam Bynum. So Byron, the closer Murphy, is what we're going to start calling him here on the channel because he was awesome yesterday. Had a 90.1 coverage grade, 89 overall grade according to PFF. He was awesome. He did a great job on Brian Thomas, only holding him to 2 catches for 12 yards. So this defense, they were pretty damn impressive. But also the offensive line, clap it up for them. They actually played very good yesterday. I thought they got great push consistently at the line of scrimmage. And, PFF, they didn't grade them out, fantastic, but it was really good across the board. I will say, Cam Robinson, he gave up 11 pressures yesterday. It was his career high. He definitely struggled, but Brandel looked good. Garrett Bradbury, massive shout out to him. I thought he was probably one of his better games of his NFL career. And then Brian O'Neill, just the epitome of consistency at that right tackle spot. But I want to give a massive shout out to one guy, Ed frickin' Ingram. I'm a big Ed Ingram hater, if you want to call it that, where I'm saying they should go with the Reisner. Now I flip my tune. He had a great game against the Colts last week. He looked pretty damn good against the Jags again. And just in specific big-time plays, 3rd and long, he held up in pass protection so well. So I want to really give a massive shout out to Ed Ingram because every Vikings media member, every Vikings fan is just waiting for the chance to rip this man a new one. But yesterday, past 2 weeks, maybe Ed Ingram is finally starting to turn that corner into being a very consistent right guard in the National Football League. And it also gets me to this. A win is a win. I understand I would have loved to go on into Jacksonville, beat them 34-7, and absolutely dismantle this football team. But if you look at the numbers, the Vikings did that. Now, the yards, you almost had 300 total more yards than them. You had 18 more first downs than the Jags yesterday. And look at the time of possession. 42 minutes to 17 minutes, and turnovers were even. Yards per play in favor of the Vikings as well, 4.9 to 3.3. So a little bit of a hot take here. I know people are very frustrated with how they played over the last couple weeks. I actually think the Vikings are playing good. They're just not playing great. Like, if you clean up the turnovers and Sam Darnold takes better care of the football, and we'll talk about Darnold here in a second, this team, you probably beat the Colts 30-13. You probably beat the Jags 34-7. Like, you just clean up a couple of the miscues, and this team will start playing some really great football. And also you played some of your best football during the first 5 weeks. You're not choosing a bad part of the schedule to play probably your C+, B- game. You play bad the last 2 weeks, you get 2 wins. I think that speaks to how truly talented and how truly dangerous this team is. And, offensively, getting this guy back was a huge boost. T.J. frickin' Hawkinson, man. Massive shout out to 87. He was awesome again yesterday. That one drive, I think that was late in the second quarter, Darnold found T.J. Hawkinson 3 straight times on key 3rd and longs. And, we talked about the Vikings adding a quick pass game. This is it. And also, big shout out to Josh Oliver. He has really turned into one of the better pass-catching tight ends in the league. I expect the Vikings to go to a lot more 21 personnel, run those 2 tight ends, try to get downhill a little more. But having this guy back, he really opens up the whole, shebang for the Vikings offense. But let's show him some love, man. A top 5 tight end in the National Football League. He looks like a Minnesota Viking out there, man, with the long hair. And he's truly one of my favorite players on this team. So show him some love down below in the comment section and hit me with that 87. Now we'll dive into the bad from yesterday because we definitely got to talk about it. But before we do so, I want to give a massive shout out to Prize Picks. Now, if you guys head over to prizepicks.com/CLNS, plug in promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS to get $50 instantly by just playing a $5 lineup. Now, Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. If you guys want to add any more juice to a basketball or football game and just increase your viewing experience, Prize Picks is the #1 way to do so. And with Monday Night Football tonight, I'm going to be creating a lineup for the Rams-Dolphins game. So if you guys want to get in on the fun, head over to prizepicks.com/CLNS, plug in promo code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Shout out to them for sponsoring today's show. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, Sam Darnold. Let's talk about him for a little bit. I will say this off the start. The Vikings are not going to Nick Mullins. We can stop that. Aaron Jones hopped on the Kay Adams show early this morning and said Sam Darnold is our guy, and I think there is a 0.0000% chance that they would ever go to Nick Mullins. And Darnold yesterday, it was his worst game as a Minnesota Viking. No doubt about it. 240 yards, had those 3 interceptions. And the one thing that is a little concerning is the last 4 interceptions from Darnold have all gone to when he was targeting Justin Jefferson. Hey, I get it. If I was a quarterback and I was throwing the number 18, I would be staring down that, hole over and over again to try to get him the football, but he's got to look at other guys. He's got to look at Addison. He's got to look at T.J. Hawkinson a little more. But if he just cleans up the turnovers, he's playing good football. Now, he was dealing with that little hand injury yesterday. We saw him flexing it throughout the game. So if we get an injury update on that, I'll definitely let you guys know. Some more reason to hit that sub button to subscribe here to the channel. But overall, I understand the stats look awful. 3 turnovers. Like, he's got 6 turnovers the last 2 games. But the Vikings still won. Think about that. If I would have told you Darnold would turn the ball over 6 times against the Colts and the Jags, you would have probably said Vikings lose both those games. But Darnold, he's got to turn it around, and I think he will do so. But definitely the bad from yesterday, Sam Darnold. Now, hate calling him this, but I'm a big fan of O'Connell, but we're going to start calling him Kevin Too Cute O'Connell. Now, there was a couple plays yesterday. The one that drove me crazy was that little end around double reverse. They went to Jalen Nailor. The Vikings are moving the ball up the field, and he goes to an end reverse to Jalen Nailor. Ended up being a 7-yard loss. Like, that was just a bonehead play call by Kevin O'Connell. I like the play design. It was poorly executed, no doubt about it, but go to it in a different spot. I don't know why you got to pull out that play, especially against the freaking Jacksonville Jaguars. So, KOC, I still think he's one of the best play callers in the NFL. Just sometimes he just gets a little too cute on big-time plays. But, again, this is still a learning process. This is only his 3rd year calling plays in the NFL. And the one thing about KOC, he's so big on process. And his process specifically, I think it's good. I think it's going to get better each week. And really, he's still a young play caller, guys. Like, you got to give him time. But, he definitely got too cute yesterday. So that was the bad from the Jags game. And another bad, free 3, man. Jordan Addison just not getting the football. I mean, the whole first half of Addison not getting a single touch. Then I thought it was funny enough. Kevin O'Connell dials up a jet sweep to him. First play of the second half for 4 yards. I think that was almost KOC trying to say, hey, we see you. We understand you're not getting the football. Almost trying to, kind of force feed him happiness a little bit. But Darnold did miss him over the middle of the field on a big-time throw. So that would obviously help his stats. But, man, his season stats, that can't happen. 21 receptions, 298 yards. He needs to have a 100-yard game here shortly. I am praying it's going to happen against the Titans. But free 3, man, that's going to be our roll call to end today's show. If you guys made it to the end, give me a free 3 down below in the comment section. We've been saying it a lot, and I'm still waiting on that one game where Addison completely lights it up. It will just open up everything else for this offense. So if you guys made it to the end, give me a free 3 down below. And also, I'm on Twitter. If you guys want to give me a follow over there, that's the handle at Pat Sieps. If you guys do so, I'll give you a follow right back. But I do think it's a good time to be a Vikings fan. I think we all need to pump the brakes a little bit on, this team kind of free falling. I just don't think that's the case. They've been playing good football the last 2 weeks. They've been absolutely dominating these teams. It just comes down to turnovers. So, if you guys could, give me a follow on Twitter. See you guys next time. Let's go Vikes.